Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now this bit is for the parents, guardians and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.
And welcome to the Learn Live channel and to today's Safe and Sound broadcast. Safe and Sound is a project set up by Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service with the aim to support communities to make informed and positive lifestyle choices, improving their health, safety and well-being with some safety tips and tricks. This project runs a variety of interactive and practical workshops for people of all ages and is delivered by multiple partners and agencies such as Tamworth Borough Council, Stoke Council and the police. But first, before we begin, please remember that if you have any questions, please use the live chat next to the video player. If you leave a question on the chat, one of our speakers will get back to you as soon as possible. So now, I'll be handing over the rest of the broadcast to Paul Carter. Paul works for Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service within the Safe and Sound project, and he will be hosting the rest of today's Safe and Sound broadcast. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you, Ellie. Hello everyone. Welcome to Safe and Sound on Learn Live. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to Learn Live for all the hard work putting this programme together for us. This week we have, in no particular order, Tamworth Borough Council, Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service, Stoke-on-Trent City Council and Staffordshire Police. I'll be asking you a question after the first three topics this week, and hopefully you or your teacher can enter your answers in the live text area of the screen together with your school name, please. Answers at the end of those three topics. The fourth item this week by the police is a poem and video entitled Ditch the Blade. This is aimed at Year 6 and above pupils, so adults, you may wish to switch off after the three topics and questions and answers. So let's get started. First we have Brad talking about fire safety.
Hello, my name's Brad Robbins from Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service. Did you know in the last 8 months we've attended 305 kitchen fires? Well, 114 of these fires are due to being distracted. Did you know 33 of those incidents are chip pan fires? And 23 of these incidents are due to white goods. Don't forget to register your products. You can reduce the risk of this happening to you by following some simple steps. Always look when you cook. Remove any items that may catch fire away from the hob and oven. Make sure you clean your oven and hob regularly. Make sure you turn the oven off at the switch so you and your pets don't accidentally turn the oven off. Did you know, in the last 8 months in Staffordshire alone, we've had 16 serious injuries in kitchen fires? You need to act now to prevent this from happening to you.
Thank you, Brad. The question is, how many chip pan fires have we had so far this year? Now it's over to Andy, talking about being streetwise.
Hello again everybody, it's Andrew Smith, Tamworth Borough Council. Hope you're all keeping nice and safe and well. Today we're doing a little bit of an extension of the talk we did last week. That was all about road safety mainly though, but it did involve in the winter time, and we're going to be looking at three things today, all about keeping safe, as obviously it's now getting towards winter time. Okay, and that's going to be looking at keeping safe if it's icy, if it snows, which it may well do, and also a bit about personal safety, about keeping your personal belongings nice and safe. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing today. I'll be putting some pictures up as I talk about these subjects as usual. I want you to listen very carefully because, as usual, Paul will have a question for you at the end. So hope you enjoy it. And we're going to start off talking about ice. Right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is ice, in actually particular, because we talked about walking in ice last week, about frozen water, because that can be really, really dangerous at this time of year. And we do get problems every year, and we always hear things in the news about people, both young people and adults, being a bit silly if any of the rivers, lakes and canals get frozen. Now, in Staffordshire, particularly Tamworth, Lichfield, Burton area, we've got lots of lovely rivers, lakes and canals that look really, really nice, don't they? And they're lovely to walk by, take pictures of, etc. But even in the summer, really, you shouldn't be getting in there, okay, when it's really hot, to cool down. And you certainly shouldn't be going on them if it gets very, very cold and the water gets frozen. Doesn't happen often in this country, but it can happen, and I've known it happen lots of times. Now, as I'm talking, hopefully you've seen some pictures of various rivers, lakes and canals that are frozen, okay? So never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, be tempted to step on or attempt to walk across a frozen river, lake and canal. It's not a shortcut either. You think you can get to the other side quicker. That's really, really dangerous. Now, there's a couple of pictures on here and one little sort of very short video picture. The video one, hopefully if it's worked, shows some young people messing about on a lake, and one of them it looks like throws a stone or a brick in the water near one of the other people. As you can see, because the ice isn't very thick, he just fell right through, and that can be so dangerous. And there's another picture, should be of a lady who went in after her dog and got in a real mess and nearly caused real serious problems for both of them, but luckily was rescued. Okay, and it just shows you that the ice may look thick, but often it isn't, and it doesn't take much for it to break, particularly in this country, because it's not usually cold enough for long enough for it to get really thick. So just avoid going on any icy surfaces, frozen water, rivers, lakes and canals. If it happens this winter, keep away. Even if your pet goes on there and the ice breaks, don't be tempted to go after it, okay? Try and get some help. Sometimes pets can get out themselves, they're very good swimmers, etc., but please don't go after them, okay? That's always our advice. All right. The other danger as well is if you all of a sudden plunge into cold water, it can cause your body to go in a form of shock, and you may have heard of this before, what we call hypothermia, okay? And that is the last thing we want, okay? So just simple. You can look at it, take pictures, because it does look really nice, but if any water, rivers, lakes or canals freezes over this year, please keep away and stay nice and safe. Right, the next thing we're going to talk about is if it snows. Now, more about playing in the snow, because I like snow. My son loves it if it does happen, because we haven't had any proper snow for a couple of years, so maybe this will be the year. It can be great fun to build snowmen, have a snowball fight, go sledging, etc., etc. And it can be absolutely great fun. And we've got no problem with that. We want you to enjoy it, okay? Particularly after the year we've had. It'd be nice if we can get out and enjoy things, okay? But there are some dangers to it and things I just want to talk about, because this seems to happen every time we do get snow. And again, I've got some pictures for you to have a look at as while I'm talking now. Obviously, if you play in the snow, have a think about where a safe place to play is. Well, obviously, your garden, your front or the back, as long as it's big enough and you can. And obviously a field somewhere or a park, as long as mum or dad knows where you are and you're with somebody usually, are all great places to play in the snow, okay? What you shouldn't be doing is playing right near roads, okay? And what we sometimes get, and we've had problems with this definitely in Tamworth, is when it snows, we've had groups of young people being a bit silly with the snowballs and throwing them at moving traffic. Now, obviously that's exceptionally dangerous, okay, because throwing snowballs at traffic could be really distracting for the driver, could cause them to skid, have an accident. And also sometimes when you pick up snowballs, you might pick something up else with it. It might be a chunk of ice in there that's very hard, could be a stone in there, you just never know. It has happened. And if you throw that at any sort of moving vehicle or window or any glass, it can easily smash. So it's really, really dangerous, okay? So please, if it does snow, and I personally hope it does, I enjoy the snow. And I say my son hasn't seen proper snow for a couple of years, so it'd be lovely. But if you're going to do that, play somewhere nice and safe and sensible in a back or front garden or in a nice big park. There's lots of them about, as long as obviously mum or dad are aware and you're with somebody responsible. And you can have lots of fun, lots of space to do that. Don't go playing near roads, particularly busy roads where it could be dangerous for you and the drivers. And certainly don't get throwing snowballs at moving traffic and things like that, because it can be extremely dangerous. So hopefully, if it does snow, we can all enjoy it nice and safely. Right, the last thing to talk about today is personal safety. Now, hopefully, if the lockdown restrictions are eased on December the 2nd, fingers crossed, obviously, hopefully we're all going to have 3 weeks or so to do some Christmas shopping. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of us will have done a lot online already, but we might be able to go out and do some, which can be quite a nice experience depending on if you like that sort of thing or not. But it's very important, because I'm sure lots of you do, like most people, take a purse or a wallet or a bag and your mobile phone and things like that out with you. Okay, but you need to be really, really careful, because unfortunately, and I hate to say this, there are some people out there, not very nice people, thieves, that will try and take your things. And you can prevent this in a couple of ways. Now, I'm going to put some pictures on now, and this is where you should never keep your wallets or your phones. And I bet you've all seen somebody do this, and I bet you all know somebody that does this. I certainly do, and I see it all the time when I walk out and about. Never put them in your back pocket. Okay, just look at these pictures now. How inviting is that for a thief? Okay, it's so easy, especially in a crowded place, particularly somewhere like Tamworth on a market day where we get a lot of this. If you're busy concentrating, looking at a store or looking at something, and a thief is about and they see your phone or your wallet or whatever it is sticking out your back pocket like that, it is so easy for them to take it. Please keep your personal belongings somewhere a lot safer. Put them in a bag, a zipped up bag, or any sort of bag really, and have the bag to the front of you, or put them in your front pockets. It's a lot more difficult for somebody to do that, to steal anything without you noticing, if it's in your front pocket. But in the back pocket, it's an invitation, and you can see by the pictures how easy that is to do. Okay, so please, if you go out leading up to Christmas and the restrictions of ease, which we all hope they have, please keep your personal belongings nice and safe. Okay, and if you've got a bag as well, make sure it's zipped up securely. Okay, saying keep your wallet and purses either in your bag where you can see, or at least in your front pockets. Okay, and if any of you or your relatives, mum or dad, whoever, older brothers and sisters, use a cash point machine, use that very sensibly as well. Okay, make sure that you hide your PIN number when you type it in. Okay, that again, all your belongings are nice and secure and you know where they are, and you make sure there's nobody right behind you that can see your PIN number. And even better, if it's possible, go into the bank and use the machine inside, as that is a lot safer. Okay, well, anyway, hope you've enjoyed the talk today, and that's all our winter safety stuff done for now. Okay, and we're actually talking about something different next week, about playground safety, about staying safe if you're using playgrounds, and actually do sometimes get some accidents. Okay, anyway, stay safe, stay well, and enjoy your week, and I will see you next week.
Thank you, Andy. The question is, where should you never keep your mobile phone or purse or wallet when you go out? Now, over to Liz and Heather, talking about decision making.
Hi there, my name's Liz and this is Heather, and we work for Stoke-on-Trent City Council Public Health. Normally, we'd be at the fire station delivering this workshop, but today we're doing it virtually. We're going to talk to you about decisions and choices that you may make as you get older. Already, I expect lots of you have made decisions today. What about you, Hev?
Yes, I've had to make decisions about what to wear today, what to have for my breakfast, how to get here, whether to walk or to catch the bus.
Right, okay. So, and as you get older, you're going to have to make more decisions, and you're going to have to think more carefully about what happens if you make a certain decision. So the consequences really. So what happens if I do this, or what happens if I do that? And as you get older, these decisions do become more important.
Sometimes as you get older, you're going to have to make decisions about your health. What sort of decisions would you have to make about your health, Liz?
Well, I sort of sometimes think, should I watch the TV or should I go out on my bike? Should I cut down on how much meat I eat? Or, should I have another bar of chocolate? But sometimes you might have to make decisions about whether you use drugs or not.
So what is a drug? If somebody uses a drug, do you think it affects the way that they feel, think, behave? What do you think, Liz?
Well, I've thought about this quite a lot actually, Heather, and I think a drug is something that might affect all three. I think if you put something in your body that affects the way your brain works, I think it really is going to affect how you think. And then I think if you're thinking differently, I think you're going to behave differently.
Definitely, yeah, that's correct. So we all use drugs. When we were babies, we may have had injections against disease, which will have helped us. Sometimes we may have had a medicine if we're unwell, and that will have been a drug.
Oh, so what you're saying then is all medicines are drugs, but not all drugs are medicines. So thinking about alcohol then, Heather, is alcohol a drug? Or is it a medicine? Or is it a poison?
So alcohol is a drug. It affects our brain, which affects the way that we think, we feel, and we behave. Alcohol is also a poison. In its purest form, it is ethanol, and a tiny amount of that can kill you.
So alcohol's a poison, so I could go to a supermarket and buy poison. Is that why sometimes people feel unwell the next day? Because they've got all that poison still in their body?
Yes, poison in the body is filtered out by the liver, and the liver can't filter out that poison that's in alcohol, so that's why they feel unwell.
Medicine though. Are you sure it's not a medicine? Because sometimes my friends say they feel much better when they've had a drink of alcohol.
So they may feel a little bit better in the short term, but long term, alcohol is not a medicine. Your doctor wouldn't prescribe you alcohol, would they, if you were feeling ill? No.
So do you think everybody has to drink?
No, lots of people choose not to. And here are some of the fantastic things children on Safe and Sound have said to us before.
So we do know that having the right information from a trusted source can help you make the right decisions for yourself.
However,
Cameron is now 18, the legal age to buy alcohol, so him and his friend Will decide to go out to celebrate to a local bar. When it's time to leave, Will can't find his friend Cameron. He looks all around, can't see him anywhere. He goes outside and he finds Cameron slumped on the floor, lying on his back. Will remembers that alcohol is a poison and a drug, and he knows that if Cameron's got that in his stomach, he might want to be sick. If Cameron's sick on his back, that sick might get stuck in his throat and he might choke. So Will has to do something to make him safe, and we call that the recovery position. However, it's really important that Will keeps himself safe, so he has to remember this word, DRAB. D. Is it dangerous for him to go and help Cameron? So he needs to check if there's any glass or any electricity or anything around him. Is Cameron responsive? Cameron, can you hear me? Wake up. Is his airway clear? Will can check in his mouth to see if his false teeth or anything are blocking his airway. And is he breathing? Will looks at Cameron's chest and can see that it's going up and down, and he puts his head at his mouth and he can hear his breath. So Will decides it's safe to put him in to the recovery position. I want you to imagine then that Will is knelt in front of Cameron, and this is what he would do. Place the arm nearest to Will at a right angle to your body with your hand upwards towards your head. High. Tuck the other hand under the side of your face so the back of your hand is touching your cheek. This will protect Cameron's face when Will rolls him over. Bend the knee furthest away from Will to a right angle. Will now carefully roll Cameron over onto his side by pulling on his bent knee and his shoulder. Cameron's arm will support his head and his bottom arm will stop him rolling too far. Will check his airway by gently lifting his head back and lifting his chin and opening his mouth. Check his airway is clear. If Cameron is sick now, it'll go onto the floor. Will needs to stay and monitor Cameron and ring 999. If Will had a friend with him at the time, he would get his friend to ring 999 while he put Cameron into the recovery position.
Thank you, Liz and Heather. The question is, what is the position that Will put his friend Cameron in when he found him unconscious? So thank you very much to our presenters this week. The answers to the 3 questions are, we have had 33 chip pan fires so far this year. Never keep valuable items in your back pocket, as it's very easy for thieves to steal items from there. And the position Will put Cameron in was the recovery position. So that's the 3 topics. More safety messages next week. Remember, this programme will be available on demand on the Learn Live channel to view at any time and for you to share with others, please. Please note, teachers and adults, you can check the next topic, which is Police Ditch the Blade content, on demand on Learn Live, and then let your children view it if you consider it appropriate. So, at this point, take care everyone, and remember, hands, face, space.
Thank you, Paul, for hosting this extremely important broadcast today. And, like Paul said, there'll be more of these broadcasts coming up over the next few weeks, so please keep watching. I just want to say another thank you to all the speakers from Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service, Tamworth Borough Council, Stoke Council and the police. The tips that have been given today are so important. So, thank you. And, as Paul said, if you have any questions for any of our speakers today, please leave them in the live chat next to the video player, where they will get back to you as soon as possible. That's all from us today. See you this time next week as we have more speakers from Staffordshire Fire and Rescue and their partners and agencies. You won't want to miss it. Stay safe and stay connected.
Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now, this bit is for the parents, guardians, and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.